You know, when I was talking to the person who was working at Dischem, talking about homeschooling, I alluded to the fact that she spoke a lot. Some of the things she mentioned were about the very horrible teacher her child has. Very harsh, very strict. She will give you a project today. You must collect all the pieces and prepare that project same day and bring it in the next day. That's harsh. What about parents who don't have a budget just like that, who don't have the money ready, or who can't go to the shops that very same afternoon? What about moms or dads or uncles? Whichever caregiver. What about the caregivers who come back home late? And this child is only only in primary school, so she can't go buy them. She wouldn't have the money. But anyway, so we're speaking, and I was talking about her older daughter. The older daughter said, yes, mom, she is like that. She's always been like that. Very harsh, very mean. She was never loving. Her daughter hated school. So when she finished school, though she did pass well enough to go into tertiary education, she didn't. She said, Mom, I am done with school. I want to get a job. Her mom was not that happy. Generally, the unskilled jobs, or the jobs that take unskilled workers, are the lowest paying. Meanwhile, our housing costs are quite expensive. Here, it's different. Overseas, well, I can speak about where we were in the UK. Just factory workers. We were just factory workers, my husband and I. And yet we could get a very, very nice flat in a very nice area. Comfortable, good security, and that was just on an income for a caregiver. And that was just on an income for a factory worker. I didn't continue working long because of my health. So even with a single income, we were fine. We could pay rent and get food. Food was also not too expensive, but it's not the case in South Africa. Those menial jobs don't pay you enough for rent, not in a good place, not for your own space, and not also for food. So it was a worry that her daughter just wants to go out straight, unskilled, into the workplace. Now it's been a year and a half. The daughter said, you know, Mom, I hate working. She's not the first person I've heard who's complained, young lady, complained that work is horrible. Work is horrible. There's no real reason, but they just hate it. So her mother was telling her, well, there's still time. There's still time for you. I will pay for you to go and study something else. Study something. I don't mind. Do anything. Just go and get some kind of skill. Maybe you can be a chef. Maybe you can travel. And I said to her, now that is something a friend and I have been discussing, especially amongst us people of color. I think because we were kept away from the professional jobs, there's now this mindset that the professional jobs, the qualifications, the degrees are what we need in order to survive or thrive in life. But, and I'm sorry to generalize, but I'm building it based on what I've seen in my life. But white people, they don't need degrees. Oh, they know you don't need a degree in order to get a job and take care of yourself. Their mindset is get a skill. Go and learn something so that you can get work or become your own boss. That is the mindset. We want to send our children to university to get a degree. They must get a diploma. If they can't handle a degree, then a diploma, like it's worse or less than. That's not true. And what has happened is many of our children can't get into university. They didn't get the marks. They could get into a college of skills, a vocational training place, but those are they're viewed as third rate. Whereas here, I will have the mechanic come. Not many people want to be mechanics. No father is telling his child, you must finish your schooling so you can be a mechanic. Well, not in the black circles I know of. But you'll see the mechanics, white, coming, the plumbers, white, coming. Plumbing, again, is another one that you don't really hear many parents using as a goal. But with plumbing, you can market yourself and go to any city, any town, any village, like, built up village, and you can get a job. Electricians can get a job, become their own bosses. So they come with their sons, and their sons learn from them. And so it gets passed down. If I'm an accountant, my son can't come to the office with me, and it doesn't get then passed down. They have to go to university and have to get a degree. They're not rich, but they're happy. They are working, they're taking care of themselves, and they're happy, just like that. There was a family who came to collect car seats that I was giving away, that my twins had outgrown. Their car was ratty, tatty. The young couple was so happy to get these beautiful car seats. But they had a car, they were renting their own place. We, on the other hand, we don't have our own places, we can't afford cars, but we only want the rich making jobs, and not all of us will get the rich making jobs. So I was telling the mom that I'm loving the way that you're not about wanting her to have a high paying job, you're wanting her to have a skill. That is the difference. Our children need skills. Not everybody can be rich. Even those with degrees. Not every degree will make you rich. That's one thing they drummed into us when I was doing speech pathology. You guys, you finish your degrees, you go out there, you're going to be poor. It's not a job that'll pay you. So degree does not equal with wealth. A degree does not equal wealth and riches. A degree doesn't even give you a job. But if you have skills within yourself, in your own hands, you can cook anywhere. You can move town and cook. You can become your own catering company. You can specialize. There's a lot you can do if you've got a skill. And that is honest labor. That's what we need to get into more of our parents and more of our children. We don't need to get the degrees that we were deprived, or our children don't need to get the degrees they were deprived. Let's look at our children's strengths. That is my second plea. Look at your children's strengths. Look at their weaknesses. Can tutoring help their weaknesses, or is it something the brain just can't ever master? And if not, what then? What is the vocational college near you teaching? Is there something perhaps your child could do there? It's not a step down, it's a step up to them having their own job. Plumbing schools advertise, lots of children go there, most of them. In fact, there's only one black child, and in this area there are more than one black families. There's me. We need hand skills, we need labor, we need skills for our children so that they can become their own bosses, so that they can provide for themselves, for their families. Please don't only push your children to a degree. And also, again, watch their strengths, watch their weaknesses. Go visit an educational psychologist if you have the money. You will have the money. You can save. Take them there and say, can you assess their work readiness, the skills that they are more, what are their strengths? What kind of job can they learn? What kind of skills can they learn for what kind of job? Let's help our children to succeed and thrive. How many children drop out in first year because they can't handle the academic rigors of university? Too many. Not all our brains are academic, but all our brains are capable of learning something. So that's my plea, parents, especially parents of color. I see it in the homeschooling groups. The parents are like, okay, my child's going to go to whatever, we're making up a name, Dynamis College, a place I've never heard of, and they're going to do maybe secretarial course or something, something. We might look down on it, but those secretaries and receptionists find jobs and they're like set for life in a way. They will stay with that job. They will have a job. Or my child is going to go and do art in something, in graphics, in designing. There's more to life than teaching. Lawyers, social workers, nurses. Those are the things I wanted, but there's more to life than those. May we help our children to thrive. May we push our children in the direction their brains are leading them to. May we help our children to reach their potential. Thank you for listening.
And so, to summarize, no job is too low class for your child to do. Whatever their passion is, go for it. Jump with them into it, even if it's not a degree at a university. Help them to spread their wings and help them to fly. Please don't let them force them to be part of those stats of the children who enter but never finish university. There's more to life. We do need universities. We do need university students, but we also need skilled people, skilled with their hands. And I know that I'm more than my qualification. What I'm doing with my life is more important than what I did in my studies. And that is something I think many of us are missing out amongst us Black people, where for us, being a homeschooling mom is a step down for the type I'm talking about, the old people, the old relatives, the old mothers, etc. It's a step down because you went to university so that you can use your degree and make money. But you see, part of life isn't only about making money, it's about being of service. And sometimes you will be of service without earning a single cent. That is what happens with being a full-time caregiver, be it of your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, or being a full-time parent. Those things are still needed. Someone has to care for your ailing mother. Someone has to care for the father. So if it's not you, it will be someone else. So it's a blessing for you to be able to minister. Forget that degree. Stay in the now. What reminded me of what made me say this is when I took my father, I accompanied him to an appointment he had, and one of my other-in-laws was there also. And the doctor asked, just making up a conversation, so what do you guys do? So the relative said, nothing. And I said, well, I homeschool my children. And that was all. That's all he needed to know. I educate my children. That is what I was doing and is what I will continue doing for many years. But my father then said, but she has 2 degrees in psychology. Firstly, who cares? Even if I had 1 degree or 1 diploma in bank telling, or I don't know what you get as a bank teller. Why does it matter so much to us that someone has studied in university? And especially when the other person who's in the room, that relative, had not. No certificate, no diploma, no degree. Doesn't make that person, that relative, any less important. We are all the same. And so parents, get that into your heads. Meet with like-minded parents who will be happy that your children want to do something with their lives, whether they're paramedics, whether they're bakers, whether they're chefs, whether they are working at a factory, whether they are welders, or installing electric fences for people, working for security companies. As long as they want to do something, be happy and help them to do it. Help them to do it, unless, of course, it's going to be something silly like selling their bodies. That I don't agree you should help them with. Now for real, goodbye.